So here's a wild thought for you. What if the websites we use every single day weren't actually designed for us at all? Today, we're diving into a pretty radical new idea, AI that builds websites, not for people, but for other AIs. I mean, this is a huge shift, flipping the script from human-first design to something entirely new, and it's going to change how we think about the entire digital world.
Have you ever tried to get your AI assistant to do something simple like book a flight or order your groceries, and it just fails? It gets stuck on some step that seems ridiculously easy to you. Yeah, it happens all the time, right? We've got these super powerful AIs that can write code or create art, but they get tripped up by websites that we humans navigate without even thinking. And the reason is actually pretty simple. The web was built for our eyes, for our intuition, not for a machine that sees the world as pure code.
And that leads us right into our first big topic, this massive design disconnect between AI agents and the websites we built. We're going to look at why the very things that make a website look beautiful or feel intuitive to us can actually be huge roadblocks for an AI.
I mean, think about it for a second. We design websites to be experiences. We love all the beautiful images, the subtle little animations, the clever layouts that guide our eyes. But to an AI agent, all of that is just noise. It's digital static. It couldn't care less about a cool parallax scrolling effect. It's just trying to find the Add to Cart button and get its job done as efficiently as possible.
And this slide, wow, this just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got this sleek, modern website, the kind we see all the time. But on the right, that's what the AI would prefer. It's a bare-bones, high-contrast, almost brutally functional version of the exact same site. All the style is just stripped away, leaving nothing but the pure, logical structure. So let's officially meet the star of our show, the Computer Use Agent, or CUA for short. The best way to think about a CUA is like a digital test pilot. Its entire job is to go out and navigate a website just like a person would, by looking at the screen, figuring out what's a button and what's not, and clicking on things to complete a mission. Okay, so this is where the research gets really creative. Instead of trying to force our AIs to get better at dealing with our messy, human-centric internet, the paper asks a totally different question. What if we just let the agents build their own world, one that's perfectly optimized for them from the start?
And right here, this is the core experiment, and it's just brilliant. The researchers set up a kind of AI tag team. You've got one AI playing the role of the architect, we'll call it the coder, and its job is to build a website. Then you have another AI playing the inspector or the judge, and its job is to test that website and report back on whether it's actually usable, from a machine's point of view.
All right, let's get our cast of characters straight. First, you got the coder. This is our designer AI. It's the one writing all the code, the HTML, CSS, the whole shebang. Then we have our good friend, the CUA, who steps into the role of the judge. It's tasked with going to the website that the coder just built and trying to complete a bunch of tasks, giving feedback on what works, and more importantly, what doesn't. Now, to really put this AI team through its paces, the researchers built a custom digital obstacle course called AUI Gym. And this isn't just some simple test, okay? We're talking about a massive benchmark with 52 different web applications and a staggering 1,560 unique tasks. This makes sure the AI isn't just learning to solve one little problem, but can actually adapt and generalize across a whole range of challenges. So, we've got our coder and our CUA. But how do they actually work together? Well, that brings us to the methodology, the nuts and bolts of it all, the Coder-CUA framework. Let's break down exactly how this process works.
The whole thing runs on this simple but incredibly powerful four-step loop. Step 1 is design. The coder gets a prompt and generates version 1 of the website. Step 2 is test. The CUA is sent to the site and tries to complete its mission. Step 3 is feedback. Every single thing the CUA does, every click, every scroll, every piece of text it types is recorded. And finally, step 4 is revise. All that data gets packaged up and sent back to the coder, who uses it to make the UI better. And this loop just repeats over and over: design, test, feedback, revise, and with each cycle, the website gets a little bit easier for the AI to use.
But how do you make all that feedback easy to understand? I mean, an AI's raw activity log is just a chaotic mess of data. Well, this is where the most clever part of the whole method comes in, the CUA dashboard. This thing is genius. It's a tool that takes the CUA's entire chaotic journey and visualizes it as one single, clean image. It highlights every click, every interaction, showing the Coda AI exactly what the CUA saw and where it got stuck. And get this dashboard isn't just a neat visual trick, it's a powerhouse of efficiency.
By automatically cropping out all the visual clutter on the screen and only focusing on the parts the CUA actually interacted with, it reduces the amount of visual data the coder has to analyze by an average of 76.2%. That is a huge deal. It makes the entire feedback loop so much faster and way less computationally expensive.
So, after running this coder CUO loop again and again, what did they actually find? What does a website designed by an AI for an AI end up looking like? All right, let's get to the results and see for ourselves.
Okay, take a look at this. On the left, that's the first draft for a farm share website. It's kind of cute, right? It's got this nice hand-drawn aesthetic. But the CUA really struggled with it. Now look at the right. That's the revised version after the CUA gave its feedback. It's completely transformed into this blocky, high-contrast layout with sharp black borders around literally everything. It might look ugly to us, but for an AI, it's crystal clear.
And here's another fantastic example. A color match game starts out looking all sleek and modern, but after the CUA gets its hands on it and provides feedback, the whole interface is de-stylized. It just becomes a pure utilitarian grid. Everything gets an explicit label, controls are even duplicated to be safe, and all the info is right there up front. Function just completely demolishes form.
So, after looking at all these results, a very obvious pattern starts to emerge. When an AI is designing for another AI, it wants a few key things. First, simplified, almost grid-like layouts. Second, super high contrast elements. We're talking black and white mostly. Third, really clear, distinct buttons, usually with sharp borders. And finally, it has absolutely zero patience for animations or anything that's just there to look pretty. For an AI agent, the perfect interface is one where everything is explicit, upfront, and totally unambiguous.
And all of this brings us to our conclusion. Okay, the results are super interesting, but what does it all really mean? Because this research isn't just about making better websites for bots. It's pointing to a much bigger shift in the role AI is going to play in our world, a move from agents as simple users to agents as actual creators.
And the data absolutely proves this method works. As you can see right here in this chart, the Coder CUA framework made the Designer AI way, way better. So for a powerful model like GPT-4, the function completeness score, which is basically just a fancy way of asking, does the website actually do what it's supposed to do, jumped from about 68% before feedback to over 81% after. This feedback loop makes the AI-generated websites measurably better.
And this quote from the paper just nails the big idea here. We are moving away from a world where AIs are just passively using the tools that we humans build for them. We are now entering an era where these agents can become active participants, building and refining their own digital worlds to better suit their own needs.
You know, if you enjoyed this deep dive and you love it when complex topics just click, then do your brain a massive favor and hit that subscribe button for ViveDoc. It's the smartest thing you'll do all day, probably.
So I'll leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought. If AI can already design its own user interfaces so it can work better, what's next? What happens when AI starts building its own programming languages, its own data structures, or even its own custom hardware? All of it perfectly optimized for a non-human user. We're not just watching AI use our world anymore. We're right at the beginning of watching it build its own. Thanks for watching.